and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Eric's gonna get him.
Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's Mr. FSP, doing what I do because I do it for you all day, every day. And it just so happens to be a Sunday where I'm going to discuss the NFC South. Put a lot of that South in your mouth, okay? Because yesterday we discussed the AFC South and how abysmal that division is. Don't get me wrong. The NFC South is not that much better. It's improving. It has 3 teams out of the 4 that could cause some problems. You might say 3. I only see 2. Well, we'll talk about it. How about that? Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Huh? Whoop that trick. That's what we're doing. Trick Williams style. Listen. I don't want to state that I'm the end all be all, know it all. But I know enough to make me really, really dangerous. And I'm pretty good at this stuff. So please come on board if you're interested. Have a conversation with me. Jump in the chat. You want to come on live? Shoot me a private message with your email and I'll go ahead and I'll shoot you an invite. If not, no biggie. I've been there, I've done that, and I have no issues running the show and, give you information. Because why? It's my information. You can agree with it or you can disagree, however you want to do it. But know that we are all about that action, boss. We are all about that action. Okay. So not only are we going to talk about the NFC South, we're going to talk about UFC 318 that took place last night. I'm going to tell you it was a very, very good card. Very, very good card. I was thoroughly impressed by the fights. Some of those fights, I'm like, damn, how did he or she stand up or stay standing after what they were going through? The main event, Dustin Poirier's final match against Max Holloway, who is, Max is a bad boy. He likes to come out and play. Dude, those two boys, it just wasn't a slugfest. It was a mixed martial arts fight that had a lot of punching in it, but there were a lot of kicks. I'm surprised Max Holloway did not break Dustin Poirier's ribs as many times as he was kicked on the left side. I mean, it was brutal the way he was tearing. He was ripping his body up left and right. And I was like, okay, all right. He's going to knock him out. A few times, it looked like Dustin was like, and about to go out. And then at the end of the second, Max, he it's like what, 15, 20 seconds left. Max got caught. Max got caught. If Max did not get caught, it would have been a more lopsided victory for him. But he got caught in that second round. Third round was pretty even, but I gave it to Holloway. And yeah, pretty much the rest of the fight I gave to Holloway, even though there were points in the match where Dustin was like, yeah. He's a right-handed person, but he fights southpaw, and I can do that. I mean, I feel more comfortable fighting southpaw, even though I'm a right-hand dominant person. But he was switching up, and they were double jabbing, triple jabbing, connecting, 4 or 5 punch kick combos. Very entertaining mixed martial arts event. A couple underdogs won, but for the majority of it, it was the favorites, right? Now, Max Holloway has the BMF title, which was a made-up title, but it has some credibility because it says watch my language, the baddest motherfucker title, right? You fight at a catch weight, right? And you fight whoever thinks they're the baddest motherfucker, and he's the champion. So he's the first person to successfully defend that title. So he made history. But he wanted to make it all about Dustin Poirier because it was in the state of Louisiana, where Dustin's from. So, and to top it off, their previous 2 matches, Dustin beat him. The first time it was Max Holloway's first ever fight in the UFC, and it was short notice, but he tapped because he almost got his arm broke. Then the second time they fought, bloodbath. I actually thought Holloway won the second one, but was given to Dustin. So Dustin was 2-0 versus Max. Longer story short, this is the last fight of Dustin Poirier's career, according to him, and he wanted to fight somebody that would give him a huge fight, and that's what Max Holloway did. So he went in there not just to give Dustin his final fight, but to erase those 2 losses. You can never erase them, but my opinion, I believe that Max Holloway dominated Dustin Poirier in his final match in Louisiana in front of his home state, his home crowd. Both of those men put on some work. They put on some work, and I was appreciative of that. Co-main event, Costa. I didn't know if he was going to win. I didn't know he was going to win like he won either, but another good fight. I think Costa was 13 and the guy's face was 14, up and coming. But you never know. You never know with mixed martial arts. It can be anybody's day. I will say this. I did notice in some of the prelims how the heavy favorites or some of the favorites, once they weathered the storm of the underdog, the experience showed. It was this one ladies fight that I said, okay, that girl's a tank. She's going to go nuts on that skinny little girl. But the skinnier, more lanky fighter wasn't the favorite. And I was like, whoa. She beat her with precision, right? It was, I mean, the stockier girl, she got whooped after the first round, after, getting that first burst out. The next 2 rounds, technical. Technical. I think when you look at MMA, you have to look at the technical aspect of the fight. I think that's why it's better than boxing. You're mixing different forms of physical, you know, fighting into a match. Boxing's great. Jab, uppercut, hooks, all those other things and footwork. 3-minute rounds. Someone can run the entire time if they want to. In the octagon, you can run, but at some point, you've got to really, really fight, because if you're running, you're losing the round, period. Being defensive loses in MMA, whereas in boxing, you can throw a couple jabs, land one or two of them, and win the round if you're being very defensive and nothing going on. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not against rap. We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. Ding, ding, ding. Went off in a tangent. Had a Bone Thugs and Harmony moment. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the NFC South. Let me turn my light on because I look a little darker, and it's okay to be dark. It's just I want you to see my expression when I talk about these teams. So, per usual, let me find some music. I'm gonna roll with that. And I welcome you guys to leave me comments to talk about. Let's get to it, shall we? The NFC South. Let's talk about the NFC South. The team that won it last year. I got to open up the new file because I think I have the wrong file open. I know I had a better description of what I wanted for the NFC South. So let me just go to my... Things happen, guys. I can use what I had up, but it was not the in-depth information that I had before. Enjoy the music. Well, tell you what I'll do. I'll start with what I have, right? And we'll pick up, okay? I should have opened up my stuff earlier. I knew I had it, but I just didn't. I did not do what I was supposed to do. So I apologize, guys. I apologize. Oh. Wrong one. Did I do that? Oh, no, I did. I think this is why. I saved it under the wrong file name. Okay. And I do not want to recreate the wheel because I'm live, and that would not be good. Let me go with what I got. I'm going to go with what I got. How about that? All right. Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, the Buccaneers are the defending NFC South champions. One major issue that they're facing is Mike Evans, Mr. World for them, right? He's entering his pivotal contract year. Now, projections suggest they're going to give him a 2-year, $50 million contract extension. But that's a $25.4 million cap hit to Tampa Bay that they might not be able to absorb, because once this run with Baker and Mike and Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs are gone, they're going to need money to rebuild. And I'm saying this in a 2-year period. I think Tampa Bay, you'll see this year how Tampa Bay is good, but they're not going to be the dog that they've been in the past couple of years since Brady, right? I like Tampa Bay. I really do. There's just some issues there. Like Chris Godwin, he resigned, was coming off a major injury, right? How do you bounce back from back-to-back seasons of major injuries and having a brand new contract? Because the expectation is you're going to be the same player you were before you got injured, right? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. His hands might be the same. His speed will not be the same. I'm not saying his mobility might not be the same either, but it's more of a how will he be used, right? They added Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. So they're already planning for the departure of either Mike Evans, or if, Chris Godwin doesn't bounce back, right? Egbuka has injury issues too from college. But he's a deep threat. He's a nice target. So those three pose a lot of trouble, especially with the cornerbacks in the NFC South. All three healthy, problems. Tampa also added Benjamin Morrison and Hassan Reddick. Having Hassan Reddick, if he's in the form that he was 2 years ago, that's a big move, especially in a tie bowl system. I think you have to consider the fact that he's pure speed. Bull rush, speed rush, very decent technique, but not out of this world technique. By no means do I think he's a Hall of Famer or Hall of Famer caliber, but he has the ability to disrupt a team's mechanism when they're trying to get their offense in gear. He can do that, right? 2 years in a row, Baker Mayfield has to adjust to a new offensive coordinator, along with the other offensive weapons. But it's a lot more for a quarterback to have to deal with that adjustment than the player. Players will learn terminology. Same routes, different name. Same motion, different name. Quarterback has to remember all of it, how to adjust the line or let the center do it, but understand what the center's doing, understand the concept of the routes and why spacing is so important, Baker's smart. Unlike what a lot of people like to say, namely Jerry Taylor or Tony. They'll say Baker's a bum, Kyle's a bum. I'm like, come on, guys. They're not bums. But the adjustment for Baker coming in with his third offensive coordinator in 4 years with the Bucs, because remember, he went from Cleveland to Carolina to where'd he go? It wasn't the Raiders. It was, I know he beat the Rams on like a couple days. Then he ends up in Tampa. A lot of movement. And while in Cleveland, he had like 3 offensive coordinators. So the man is smart enough, but Tampa's gonna be tough. So the offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, replaces Liam Cohen. I'm sorry, guys. Jason Light praised rookie class after mini camp, saying that they did a good crop. And I'll tell you, I think Shiloh Sanders is going to do well in that system. He wasn't that good in college, hence the reason why he wasn't drafted. But I think he'll be a very good role player for Tampa Bay and be someone that they can count on in coming years, right? Key storylines, Mike Evans stays healthy or not. I'm telling you, Mike Evans is that guy, but there'll be times where it's like, damn, I need Mike to deliver. And for whatever reason, he can't. But then he bounces back and gives you a monster week in fantasy. I don't know if that's by design. Get the ball to Chris Godwin, run the ball more, whatever case it may be. But as long as Mike Evans is on the field, Mike Evans is going to be trouble. Just telling you. In that 3 wide receiver set, can Ibuka stand out? Can he be that third receiver that opens the field up? Cade Otton is a very talented tight end and can do that for them as well. But if you're in a 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers, then think about that. You've got 3 monster receivers and a huge tight end to get the ball to. But Ibuka has got to be healthy and a dog. I'm going to tell you, I don't believe Tampa can win a 5th straight title in the South. I don't think so. As I said, I think that window of opportunity is beginning to close. When you're considering that Mike Evans may get a 2-year contract extension, that's probably saying that he's almost at the end of his career. Because 3-4-year extension, that's when you know, okay, still got some juice left. But with a possible 2-year contract extension, drafting Ibuka, the writing's on the wall. Depends on how you read it. Okay? I had some breakdowns of battles at positions I wanted to add, but excuse me, I didn't have it prepared like I thought I did, so I'll leave it alone. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get to it, right? Let's get to it. Schedule. Black book. Black pen. black man who does not give a rat's ass. Let's talk about these Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their schedule. And again, feel free to jump in, leave a comment, say what you're going to say, but understand that I'm going to reply back. Some way, shape, or form, I'm going to reply back, guys. I am not shy, and I don't want you to be shy when commenting or sharing your thoughts on what should take place in the NFL and in my analysis. I'm all about that life. All right, regular season. Here we go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers open up with a division opponent right away. Something I did not mention that is very important, and I knew I had it on my other set of notes. Tristan Wirth is going to be out for the first at least 4 weeks, right? That is the cog that keeps that offensive line together, not the center, like most teams. It's Tristan Wirth. With Tristan Wirth out, that's what it is, WIRF. What does that offensive line look like when the best player isn't there? And you're going against a revamped Atlanta Falcons front. All they did was draft pass rushers. All they did was like, we are hunting. We are hunting. It's hunting season, wabbit season, no duck season, fire. That's what they're doing in Atlanta, right? Last year, I picked Atlanta to win a division with, this is before I realized that Kirk Cousins was going to have some regression. I knew he was coming back a little early from his injury, but I thought he was going to be good enough to do that. And up until the last 3 or 4 games of the season, Atlanta was going to win that division. Michael Penix comes in, utilizes Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts became a fantasy relevant player during your playoffs last part of the season, thanks to Mr. Penix. Now it's all Penix's show. A revamped defensive line going against a team that's without their very best offensive lineman. They're going to open up with an L because Atlanta's going to whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Next, at Houston. So I did the South yesterday, right? My problem with Houston is they have too many changes. Offensive line, 3 new players on the offensive line, a new offensive coordinator. Tank Dell not coming back anytime soon, right? Nico Collins can do some stuff, but not by himself. Michi has got to step up. Now, Houston added a beast in the backfield to help out Joe Mixon. But they're not going to be a power run team. Now, to me, their roster states we should be a power run team until we get our healthy studs at receiver and all that back. But you have 3 new offensive linemen against Tampa Bay's defense. Tampa gets that W. Sorry to tell you. Then the Jets. Look, the Jets may become a ground and pound team and boring with Justin Fields. Right? I think that the Jets are going to have a decent year, like I said. Matter of fact, I predicted the New York Jets to finish 8-9. 8-9. Right? But in week 3, I give them the upset over Tampa. Why? No Tristan Wirfs. That defensive line at the Jets, in my opinion, right now is better than the Houston's defense. And Houston has a pretty good defensive line. But Aaron Glenn needs pressure. He has the players to put him in place. Justin Fields has just got to not mess it up. And I don't look for any big things from Wilson, but I do believe the Jets upset Tampa. Yes, I do. The Jets upset Tampa week 3. Week 4, look, it's Philly. Again, no Tristan Wirfs. That defense is already a monster. The offense is damn good. It's in Tampa, so it's going to be a little hot towards the end of September, but not the type of heat that would cause major issues. I don't think. So that's another L. Right now, I have Tampa Bay, 4 weeks without Tristan Wirfs, going 1-3. 1-3. Wirfs should come back by week 5, though. And that's when things started to change for Tampa Bay. They have Seattle. Now they go to Seattle first week of October. Weather's not going to be too bad. It shouldn't be. Last year, I believed in Sam Darnold. This year, Sam Darnold got to show me. He's got to show me it wasn't just a system that made him look good last year, because at the end of the season, he looked terrible. He looked like the old Sam Darnold. Yes, he has Cooper Kupp. Yes, he has Jackson Smith and Jigba. But if Walker isn't healthy, and this is week 5, he has a tendency to get hurt, it's going to be on Sam. And I don't think Sam's going to be able to do it. So I got Tampa. Returning Christian Wirfs, going to Seattle, and whooping that trick. All right. Let's go to San Francisco. Coming to Raymond James Stadium week 6. San Fran is a unique situation here. They're relying on their second-year player, Ricky Pearsall, to replace Deebo Samuels in the wide receiving core. Christian McCaffrey's coming off of a crippling season. Like, bad, right? Hurt for 14 of the 17 games, and major disappointment for those that drafted him, because San Fran did not release that he was going on the IR until probably a lot of people had already drafted him. Number 1 overall. San Fran's getting a lot older. A lot. And I like San Fran, but it's in Tampa. They got to pay Brock Purdy. I got to go with Tampa to beat San Fran in this game. So they get the W. Then week 7, they go to Detroit. Guys, I already told you how I feel about Detroit. Detroit, whether it's Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn at the coordinator positions, the pieces are in place. And they hired from within. So the mindset and the schemes should remain the same, but it's going to be a difference in who's calling the play, right? Just because I'm similar to the next guy doesn't mean I'm going to call the same play that guy would have called. I think Detroit's going to continue moving in the direction they're moving, which is upward. And they're going to be a force. And they're going to beat Tampa, because Tampa, they're good, but they have some holes. So this is going to be an L. A division game versus New Orleans Saints. You guys if you're following me and you know how I feel about the Saints, especially after the draft, I really hope the Saints go 0-16. I'm not going to have them go 0-16, but real talk, New Orleans Saints have screwed the pooch, especially if the saying or the information is true about how the new head coach passed on Shador because of what he feared would come his way from Dion. You can't have a leader doing that. You can't. Now, Kellen Moore, he likes to throw the ball a lot. We're going to talk about that. But it ain't going to happen. Tampa Bay is going to beat the brakes off New Orleans. That's a W. Then there's the bye week, week 9. And week 9 is in my opinion, is a very, very good place to have your bye week because it's pretty much in the middle of the season, right? Perfect would be a little later if you're in contention, right? But week 9 is a perfect place to, especially since right now, only have them winning 4 games. They're 4-4, right? So at 4-4, going into your bye week, it's a good time to do some reevaluation of yourself and your team. Because the second half of the schedule isn't that bad. It's just a matter of how do you reconcile those 4 losses, which pretty much came when Tristan Wirfs wasn't there. And how do you fix the situation? Because no team in the NFL is easy except for the New Orleans Saints. And no team is going to lay down for you, right? No matter how bad they are, they're not going to lay down. They're going to give you a fight for at least 1-2 quarters. It's the second half that counts, right? So this is the second half of Tampa Bay's season, and they open up with the Patriots, who I believe are going to be a very good team this year. I love what the Patriots have done. Absolutely. Now, it's in Tampa. Weather isn't a big issue for New England because they play in a bunch of crappy weather in the winter. But November is like bad monsoon, rain, hurricanes, and all that other stuff season in Tampa. This might become one of those I need to run the ball game. But you got Stephon Diggs for the Patriots. You got Drake May, who can run as a quarterback, but will probably throw a little. And Mike Vrabel, who is a defensive-minded coach. And when he's a defensive-minded coach and he has a monster defense this year, I love that issue. They want to ground the rock up and down the field. That doesn't play well for Tampa Bay because they like to blitz and play man-to-man. But in this case, at home, Tampa Bay gets the W. Then they got to go on the road. A big, big test. Week 11 versus Buffalo. Buffalo's window is not closed. However, someone or several people at the wide receiver position need to step up so that, Josh Allen doesn't have to make everything happen. Last year, Cook showed that he could be that guy, but he kept putting the ball on the ground. Not a good thing. And now he wants more money. We'll see. But Tampa Bay going to Buffalo is an interesting matchup because Buffalo's going to be cold. I don't care what time of season it is. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. Oh! And Buffalo's a damn good team. It's not the names. It's about the Jimmy and Joes. And I believe the Buffalo Bills will win this game. So that means Tampa gets an L. Then they go to the Rams, week 12. This is an interesting matchup because I love the Rams defense. Replacing Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams I think it's pretty much even. I think Adams has better footwork, but Cooper Kupp, sure-handed hands, man. And you're pairing them with Puka Nacua, Corum, and Kyrie Williams, and Matthew Stafford's still the quarterback. That defense, that offense is very scary, and it's in LA. I know Baker went in there a couple years ago, stole a victory off of 3 days. I don't think he's going to do it this time, guys. I think the Rams defense, that young Rams defense, is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. This might be the year for fantasy for defensive players. No joke. It's so many good ones. So Tampa Bay gets the L. Then they play Arizona in Tampa, week 13. Arizona is not a very good road team. They are not. Arizona is a team that I think should be more competitive this year, but they're missing pieces. And I think going to Raymond James Stadium is going to be a problem for them. So I give Tampa Bay the win. And look who they play again. Out of 14 weeks, they've only played 3 divisional games. This one is the third one against New Orleans. W. Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about New Orleans right now. Then, week 15 versus Atlanta in Tampa Bay on a Thursday night. These teams normally play each other really, really tough. Really, really tough. Last year, Atlanta swept them with Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to give them a sweep this year. Not going to sweep. I think they beat Atlanta the second part of the season. Then they've got Carolina week 16. As I said, it's a favorable back end of this schedule. Last 9 games. Very favorable. But Carolina isn't that much of a pushover like they were before. I think Carolina's going to give them one hell of a contest. But overall, I don't care if it's in Carolina or in Tampa Bay. Tampa just has the better team. Period. So, I give it to Tampa. They go to Miami. We know what happens to Miami in November. What is the state of Florida? They're going to play at home. Weather shouldn't be an issue, right? I got to see what I gave Miami in this one before I give y'all this, because I don't think Miami's going to do well this year. Not at all. I think Miami is probably going to try to fire my guy, Mike McDonald. Nope. I was about to call McDonald again. Mike McDaniels. But week 17, I had the Dolphins losing to Tampa. So Tampa wins again. And they close out the season against Carolina with a W. So they go on a winning streak towards the end of the season, right? A strong winning streak. This leaves Tampa, in my opinion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 and 6. 11 and 6. That is respectable. Does that win a division? We'll find out. Tampa Bay did the damn thing, right? Okay. Well, let's see here. Who should I talk about next? Let's talk about New Orleans Saints, because I've dogged them out already, right? I've dogged them out. I said I don't like them. Nothing personal, nothing personal. But y'all screwed the pooch royally. And if that rumor is true, that Kellen Moore said what he said, and then you had a fake report by New Orleans journalists who admits he made stuff up to make Shedeur look bad to everybody else. Just hateful. Then Derek Carr retires, and New Orleans drafts a 27-year-old, halfway decent college quarterback, game manager at best. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna get ugly in here. Look, New Orleans. I like you guys. I do. But unless you get Deshaun Watson, bring back Jameis Winston if he gets cut from the Giants, even though they paid him some money, y'all are going to be terrible. And it's a shame because you have so much weaponry on the offensive side of the ball. But the quarterback is the daggone linchpin, along with the offensive line, to all that talent doing well. Defense is aged. Coupled with the fact there's a lot of salary cap issues with New Orleans, you don't have much to trade because you can't pay a lot of players. That can that got kicked down the road like 5-6 years. Rent's due. Rent is due. So let's break down what I got for the New Orleans Saints. Oh, I got some stuff for that bouquet. Our new head coach, Kellen Moore, is overhauling the offensive system. With quarterback Tyler Shue remains unsigned, though, leaving the position in flux. I believe, you've got Spencer Rattler last year. Proved he could play a little bit, but not consistently. You've got, I forgot the other kid's name. Couldn't do well. You bring in a guy that played for Louisville in the ACC. Didn't do well there, but was sufficient enough to be drafted in the first round? You've got to be kidding me. Kellen Moore, I understand your system. I actually like your system, but I detest the fact you don't run the ball enough. You were forced to run the ball in Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni said, we got Saquon, you're going to run the ball. That's what we're going to do. You can throw it, but Saquon better get at least 15 touches in this game. You've got Alvin Kamara, the Swiss Army knife, Chris Olave, hopefully Rashid Shaheed returns off of that bad injury he had. You've got weapons. It's just the trigger puller. Offensive line is not good. It is not good. So Tyler Shue or Shaw, good luck, bro. Good luck. They added Brandon Cooks, safety Justin Reed, defensive tackle Davin Goodo, and cornerback Cam Young. Plus, several veterans were cut to clear up cap room, but it wasn't cleared up enough because you guys need a lot of help. You do. The rookie standouts will happen to be the offensive line. You don't want your offensive line to be full of rookies with a rookie quarterback. These are concerns, people. Real concerns. one of the big questions is, can Kellen Moore's system fix the woes of the team? Rookie quarterback, or not even that, subpar quarterbacks behind him, a new offensive line. Can the defense stay consistent, even though it lost its corner, Latimer, and its safety to Washington? Now, the Honey Badger's still there, but the Honey Badger's old. He's older. He's not the same Honey Badger. Cornerbacks aren't that good. Don't be surprised if they're tanking. I mean, you know what? I'm not going to say they're going to tank. They're just going to lose. They're not going to try to tank. They're going to just lose a lot. And since I'm on that topic, let's get to the schedule. Week 1, they open up against Arizona at home. Believe it or not, even though Arizona's a terrible road team, at least Kyler, Marvin Harrison Jr., McBride, Connor, offensive line, they're solid. And they added a lot of defensive help. Oh my gosh. The defense is stoked this year. New Orleans takes an L, man. Week 2, San Francisco, L. At Seattle, week 3, this might be the one time. This might be the one time. If that defense can get to Sam Darnold, which I don't think it can, this might be the one time I think New Orleans can win this year. Being honest. Right? But week 3, Seattle beats them, man. They're in Seattle. New Orleans, it's not looking good because next week, week 4, you travel to Buffalo. Do I need to go explain anything there? No. L. Week 5, the Giants. Let me explain the Giants to you all. Even though I don't think the Giants are going to have a good year, the Giants have an overall better team than New Orleans. Period. Across the board. Their defense, head and shoulders. It's the question on the offense. Can the offense click? But that defense, they're going to maul these New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shaw, you're going to be on your back a lot. A lot. L to the Giants. Patriots. I already told you how I like the Patriots. Patriots get that, so L to the Patriots. Week 7, Chi-Town. In Chi-Town. New Orleans. This does not look good. L. Right? So let's recap. Week 1 through 7, all losses. Week 8, you have your first division game versus Tampa. L. Week 9 at the Rams. L. Week 10 at Carolina. Listen, Carolina is better than New Orleans Saints all across the board. Bryce Young showed he can play in the NFL towards the end of the season. He's got more weapons now. Offensive line is better now. Defense is playing to where it should be. Carolina gets the W. They get the L. But the Lord feels some type of way and says, you know what? Let's give you a bye week 11. You need it. You took 10 straight L's to the face. 1, 2, 3. Kind of look like Dustin Poirier when Max Holloway was bop. Sorry, Dustin Poirier. Sorry, brother. That's the way it looked. But then God says, you know what? You got to play your divisional opponents the second half of the season. And we're going to start with Atlanta. L. At Miami. L. At Tampa. L. Okay. Getting close. Getting close. 3 games. What? 3 games left. 14 straight losses. 3 games are Carolina again, the Jets, and Tennessee. 4 games. I'm sorry. Carolina, Jets, Tennessee, Atlanta. As much as I detest the Tennessee Titans, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But here's the thing. Carolina, week 15. Because there's going to be a lot of talk about New Orleans being the next team to go 0-and. No team has ever gone 0-17. They got 0-16, 0-14, but 0-17. This, in my opinion, is the last opportunity for the New Orleans Saints to fix things. And I think they do. I think they get their first and only win of the season, week 15 versus the Carolina Panthers, because the New Orleans Saints, they do something, because they realize by this point they can't win games with the quarterbacks they have. So they've had to make some type of move. Some move had to be made by this point. And Carolina comes to Louisiana in the Superdome, or I used to call it Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Dome, whatever it's called now, Little Caesars Dome, I don't know what it's called, but they go there confident because they're playing a 0-14 team, and they lose. But I have the Jets, Titans, and Falcons finishing them off. That's right. I gave one team, the Colts, 2-15. I give New Orleans 1-16. Those 2 teams will be your first and second picks in the NFL draft next year. New Orleans and the Colts. Book it. I did. Some of you might not agree with me. Make a comment here. Leave a comment on the platform that you're watching me on. I know I'm going to get some hate. Look, Cam Jordan, I love you, bro. You are a character and a beast. But your time in New Orleans was probably up 2 years ago. You needed to go to a team that was in a playoff hunt and give them all the energy you had. That would have relieved New Orleans of some of that cap space. Honey Badger, I think they gave him a decent deal. So he's good. He's needed there in that secondary. But then there's a whole bunch of other players on that team that probably don't need to be there, but cost a lot of money. Hence, 1-16 is the record I'm giving you guys. Don't blame me. Blame management. They're the ones that failed to do their job. Not I, says the rabbit. Let's go to Carolina. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, okay? Carolina, there's optimism in the air. Turn the page so I can take my Panthers. Right? It's optimism. At the end of the year last year, the Carolina Panthers played the way that folks thought they would with their head coach, being the quarterback whisperer for Bryce Young. Bryce had to sit a couple weeks and let Andy Dalton come in and show him how to play the game, what to see. Bryce is smart. He's just very, very small and frail. He cannot be getting hit like he was. Right? They added a very damn good weapon at wide receiver. I love this kid out of Arizona, Tatario McMillan. I love this kid. Tall, rangy, big body receiver that has a massive catch radius. You pair him with Adam Thielen, who's still doing it, and you have opportunities for big plays. Maybe not all downfield, but a big guy that can do jump balls, a big body that can go across the middle. And don't forget, Chuba Hubbard was running like crazy. That defense stepped up. Carolina's on the rebound. Bryce Young has shown poise in his connection with Jalen Coker, the team's EPA leader in camp. Right? Offensive identity is being built around timing, speed, and rhythm. Something they developed really well last year. You have this young kid wide receiver, and you got a problem. Not such a big problem this year, but a problem. That rookie class is extremely cohesive, and the more that they play with last year's rookies, the better they're going to be. I think Carolina will be a force in the South in a year or two. They're going to show some signs this year, right? Bryce Young is going to, step up and do his thing, hopefully, and they're going to make some noise. But they're just not there yet. Canellis is going to get them there, but they're not there just yet, okay? So for all my Carolina Panther fans, you're going to be a little disappointed, but maybe not, because the season is going to end better this year than it did last, I believe. It should. But it doesn't start out too good. It doesn't start out too good. Okay. Carolina at Jacksonville. Again, this is the battle of the same expansion teams that joined the league some umpteen years ago, and both went to their conference championship games, whereas the Panthers went all the way to the Super Bowl year 2, I believe. And when that happens, a precedent is set. Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Tina McCardle, my boy Freaky Fred Taylor, right? I do not like Trevor Lawrence, but I like Travis Hunter, and I like Brian Thomas Jr., and I like Tank, and I like ATN. A little worried about that defense, but I like what I like, and I like Jacksonville to beat Carolina week 1. So that's an L for the Panthers. Week 2, they come out here to the desert. I think this is somewhat a mirror match, except Kyler is better, right? He has better weapons. Defense, it should be better this year. It was good last year. It was really good last year. It should be even better this year, right? Panthers aren't ready. Take an L. ATL. Atlanta beats them. So that's first division game. So that's 3 straight losses, right? It's not looking good. But then the Patriots. They go to the Patriots. New England Patriots are the Patriots are where the Carolina Panthers should be in the next year or two. I believe all the pieces are in place for New England to have a very good year this year, and this should be a very good matchup. But I don't think Carolina is going to do well versus the Patriots. Matter of fact, let me make sure. Week 4, they lose to the Patriots. Panthers do. Week 5, Mike McDaniel is my guy. And the Dolphins need this. They do. Because I don't have them winning a lot of games this year. I believe Miami wins this game, but it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. It might even come down to a field goal, second field goal. But it's an L. 5 straight L's. Not uncommon for the Panthers to start the season, but these are going to be a lot more competitive games. A lot more competitive. Dallas is in week 6, and I think Dallas is a better team overall. I don't see Carolina beating Dallas, even though it's a home game. It's another L. At the Jets. I don't like Justin Fields. Even though I have his Ohio State authentic Buckeye helmet over here. If anyone's interested, hit me up. Price is right. I just can't see the Jets defense bending that much to let the Panthers beat them. Now, again, last year at the end of the season, the Panthers beat some teams they weren't supposed to beat on the strength of Chuba Hubbard running the ball, which gave Bryce Young opportunities to throw the ball. All right. Let me look and see what I did with the Jets. I got to see, because I don't want to contradict myself. But the more I think about it, the more I don't want to give this game to them. Week 7. Yeah. I gave it to the Jets, so it's an L. 7 straight L's to start the season for Carolina. People start the rumblings saying, hey, was this guy really going to fix this team? Da, 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 da. But you got to realize, some of these teams and the schedule is, it's not what you think. The names on the teams are there. But by week 8, week 7, some of these players might be injured. They play a big difference and a big role in whether or not a team wins or loses. Right now, it's not looking good, right? Week 8, they got Buffalo. Week 9, they go to Green Bay. Green Bay has a booty buttload of wide receivers in their meeting room. All those guys aren't going to be there. Wouldn't it be something if some of those guys landed in Carolina? They played them in week 9. But week 8, I can't bring myself to do it. They got to get another L. I think Buffalo puts it on them. Week 9. Here's what I'm saying about week 9. I know I gave Green Bay this W, but the more I think about it, the more I think Carolina's going to upset Green Bay. Something's telling me Green Bay is going to take Carolina really lightly. And it's in Green Bay. All right, I'm going to go against what I said for Green Bay, and I did them, and I'm going to give this to Carolina. They get their first W week 9. Week 10 starts the chain. They beat New Orleans. Right? Week 11 get swept by Atlanta. Right? Week 12, San Fran, L. Week 13, Rams, L. Now, if Carolina were a playoff team, this would be perfect for you. By week 14, last bye week of the season. But they're not a playoff team. And in your fantasy, if you get Chuba, okay. That's probably it. Now, the running back is very important in fantasy, so don't shoot the messenger, okay? All right. They can't lose the bye week, though. Week 15, they come back to go to New Orleans, but they split with them, so New Orleans takes that. Tampa, they lose to Tampa. Week 16, week 17, Seattle. Week 18, Tampa. '17 is a win versus Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. Because Seahawks come in from West Coast to East Coast. And the weather in Carolina, North Carolina, was that early January? Yeah, late December, early January. Not going to be good. Not going to be good. But week 18, hell to Tampa. Again, I thought I was going to give them a better record than they had last year. I was wrong. I have the Panthers at 3-14. Third overall pick. That's what I got them at. We have one more team to cover. It's ATL. Absolutely love Atlanta this year. I loved them last year too. Difference is, hopefully Atlanta doesn't fail me. I hope they don't fail me this year. With Michael Penix finding Kyle Pitts, I think that's going to open up a lot more of that offense. It already has Bijan Robinson, Drake London. It's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. Because remember, I have Tampa Bay 11-6, and I don't think Tampa Bay is going to win the division. But I'm about to go over the schedule, and we'll find out. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. Michael Penix Jr. has made a major leap in his second year. Hopefully his accuracy does get up. Even though he's a very, talented quarterback, deep ball is his thing. We need to make sure that he can hit Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and anyone else on those short intermediate routes without, risking the ball being turned over, right? Coaches say his improved command and pre-snap reads and pocket movement. I'm going to tell you, last year as a rookie, coming off of that national championship defeat to Michigan, and going into camp, getting drafted where you got drafted, it probably was a lot of overwhelming feelings at that time. But knowing what you know about Kirk Cousins, and if you look at the the quarterback series on Netflix, you'll see how Kirk Cousins was reacting and how, he was actually helping Michael Penix. Kurt is a good guy, right? If Kurt, and the only way I see Kirk Cousins getting traded to New Orleans is if it's a king's ransom that New Orleans doesn't have. They're not cutting Kurt. They owe him a lot of money. Why cut him? They have to pay a team a lot of money just so they can use him. Get something back for him, right? All right. Drake London leads a wide receiver group lacking depth. Special teams battle is heating up between Young Ho Ko and Lenny Craig. So when you draft a decent kicker in a decent round, and Young Ho Ko was banging things through 50 yards and out easy. Towards the end of the season, his leg started to give him a problem. It wasn't hitting him, right? So they went in and got a kicker. All right, ATL, you're making moves that say, I'm good here. Let me upgrade my kicking. I don't know. Training camp remains a fan favorite event, especially with the with Penix visible, growing and kicker drawing attention. Can Penix become a playoff caliber quarterback? Special teams and consistency remain a red flag. He can become a playoff quarterback. In fact, almost did. Had Atlanta beat Washington. Thank God they didn't. But yeah, I think you got a bunch of opportunities headed your way with Michael Penix Jr. And all that talent is going to stand up and shine. I really do. It's going to shine. It just depends on how they utilize all that talent. Bijan Robinson is going to run the rock. That's it. Tyler Algier is going to run the rock. I don't know how much their split's going to be, but if they use Bijan and Tyler like Montgomery and Gibbs, nasty work. Just nasty work. Especially with Pitts coming to his own under Penix, Drake London being consistent, that defense stepping up. They drafted monsters to go after the quarterback. In my opinion, that's all Atlanta needed. My opinion. Somebody or a group of people to get that quarterback. And I think they did that. Let's go over their schedule. Okay? And again, feel free to make a comment. Feel free to ask a question. I'm open book. Let's get it, Dirty Birds. Let's get it. Week 1, division game, Tampa Bay. Already said I believe Tampa is going to take an L there. So we're going to stick with that. All right, Tampa, W. Then they play Minnesota. And I'm glad they played Minnesota early because J.J. McCarthy is going to be the quarterback. This opportunity to get after a young quarterback that really hasn't done anything outside of have a little hype and win the national championship. This is, in effect, the national championship rematch of 2 years ago. J.J. versus Penix. I get it, not the same, but to me it is. The difference is, I don't think Minnesota's going to be ready with J.J. McCarthy at the helm to defeat a team such as Atlanta. So Atlanta gets the W. Week 3 at Carolina, W. I hate going against my Washington Commanders, but I got to, right? I think Atlanta is going to want some revenge. And I get it. The game's going to be in a Mercedes-Benz Dome. In Atlanta. It's going to be there. The Commanders need to come out and play hardball because I know Atlanta's going to come out and play hard. They want to get that nasty taste out of their mouth of how they lost. Had they beaten Washington, they would have been one step closer to winning the division. And they were going to win that division. But they did. So, again, revenge factor here. Atlanta gets a W only because it's in Welcome to Atlanta. Here's the problem that I have with their schedule. They have a bye week in week 5. Not a good place to have a bye week, especially on a team that is a little aged, but on a hot streak. You're stopping momentum. They're 4-0. Haven't lost a game yet, right? Atlanta is a scary opponent. So to cool them off and then bring them back to play Buffalo. At home, but to play Buffalo. I'm going to give Atlanta the win. That's probably an L, honestly, but it's in New Orleans, so I can give it to them. They beat San Francisco in San Francisco, believe it or not, right? They beat Miami at home. Week 9, they beat, no, hold up. Week 9, I think I had the Patriots were upset week 9. Let me verify. Week 9. Yeah. Atlanta gets this W as well. Right? Go to the Colts. I said the Colts are going to be 2-15. So guess what? The Colts take L. Atlanta is on fire. 9-0 thus far. Can't be stopped, won't be stopped. Go to Carolina, or Carolina comes to them. They get another W. Then they play New Orleans. Come on, man. W. The Jets. I think the Jets upset them. Only because I believe they're going to be riding high. They're going to MetLife Stadium in New York. It's the end of November, so the weather's going to be funky. Not saying they can't play in that weather. I just think that the Jets are going to perform way better at home at this point than I do the Falcons. Then week 14, they got the Seahawks. I don't trust Sam. Going with Atlanta. Week 15, 16, 17. Tampa Bay, Arizona, the Rams, and then finishing with New Orleans. I said they're going to split with Tampa, so they take an L. They come here to Arizona. They get the W. I think they lose to the Rams. Even though it's at home, I think the Rams bring that pressure and cause some problems. And then they sweep New Orleans. What do I have the Atlanta Falcons at? Don't sound crazy. I have them as the number 2 seed in the NFC Conference at 13-3. Sue me. Black book, black pen, black man. Got my predictions. Atlanta, 13-3, number 2 seed in the NFC. I have Tampa Bay, 11-6. And it doesn't really matter because I've got New Orleans at 1-16. And Carolina, I think I had them 3-13. Yeah, 3-13. It's hard out here for a pimp. Saying that money. I don't know the. You ain't know? No, I ain't know. I don't know the words. I'm not gonna mess with y'all like that. So that's my prediction for the NFC South. I do believe next year Carolina's going to have a better season. I mean, they're going to probably win more than 3 games because, like I said, they're going to play a lot of games close and tough. But based on experience, you know, I gave the nod to the opposite team. 3-13 is not better than last year, but it does show a little bit of promise because you got a lot of rookies on that team. So don't expect that much from them. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. We talked about Holloway versus Poirier, another good fight, another good card. I told you what I thought about the NFC South. And next week, or Saturday, I should say, we're going to talk about only 2 divisions left. AFC West, NFC West. There's a lot I got to say about those 2. Stick and stay with me. It's your boy, Mr. FSP. Give me what you need to succeed and hopefully win something, okay? I appreciate your time. As always, I hope to have you back. And let's do this. All right. You're going to learn today. Yay. See y'all later. I'm out.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
The other dude's holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?